The Northern Lights.
Nikan Iskewak, Women First, filmed in Norway House Cree Nation, northern Manitoba.
Scrolling captions.
This video explores how a community women's sharing circle helps develop Aboriginal women leaders. Aboriginal women's leadership is much more than what is on the surface. As a lawyer, elder, doctor, teacher, executive, etc. Aboriginal women's leadership begins on the inside. Aboriginal women leaders have had to overcome so many challenges to be considered effective in our roles, especially in educated positions. We worked on self esteem, confidence, negativity, insults, assaults, bullying. We worked twice as hard to overcome distrust, disrespect, and sometimes assaults. In order to be persistent and strong women, we worked on our inner strength to face challenges. Over time, the challenges lessen, but we continue to be vigilant, especially in our Aboriginal communities. Given what we face as women, we need a safe place to release that negativity and to seek support so we are able to move forward as strong women. For our community, we found the support in our circles and by participating in other ceremonies.
A lone fishing boat motors across a quiet lake.
Norway House, located in northern Manitoba, is more than 90% native. Although there was a high loss of culture due to residential schooling, the community is working together to restore and reintroduce sacred ceremonies, which are starting to become part of the community life. The next step is reclaiming the Cree language so children and youth can learn from these generations of elders in their lifetime. A number of years ago, a group of women came together to help themselves and began to help their community. This is their story.
The screen fades to black. Then words appear. The women emerging are the hearts of the nation. Mary Megasis, Turtle Mountain, Ojibwe. At night, a campfire burns on a beach across from the village lights which shine on the distant shore.
I am here to talk to you about sharing circles and other ceremonies. To begin, I am part of a women's group based out of Ottawa, and the women that represent this group come from all across Canada, and I was privileged to be asked to be part of this group almost a year ago, and I went to my first meeting in July of 2011. At that time, I shared the story of how women come together in gatherings for ceremony. I shared the stories of how the women grew from these ceremonies, how they get inner strength from each other and within themselves.
On a black screen, the title Nikan, Iskewak appears in bold white letters as the words Women First scroll past in the background. Subtitle The Circles. A round golden moon shines in the night sky as a quote appears. The most basic and powerful way to connect to another person is to listen. Perhaps the most important thing we ever give to each other is our attention. Rachel Naomi Remen. The image of the moon switches seamlessly into a round rawhide drum held by an Aboriginal drum maker at a campsite. She holds the drum with one hand over a hot stone fire, fashioning the drum skin as she taps it with her other hand to test the sound. Linda Freed.
The concept of sharing circles is about supporting each other. Circles are unending, and so is the support. For the women that have come together in this circle over the past 4, almost 5 years, I've seen a number of them really beginning to grow, to begin to understand what has brought them to the place they're in and help them begin to move to where they want to be in life. when we come together, it's about bringing our heart, our mind, our body, our spirit, and to bring it in a way that's respectful and truthful.
Jennifer
We found
Oborn
that
Crawley.
in being here that a lot of the women carry experiences of trauma, of hardship, and difficulty processing those emotions. And over the last 4 years, we've been working at helping to loosen those emotions up by having the women speak and share and sing and participate in ceremony.
Carmel Monias.
When I first came to the ceremonies, everything was very new to me. I've never seen anything like that before. And I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't know what to do. I thought, okay, should I know? Everybody looks like they know what they're doing, and I didn't. But I just kept going, and you were all so welcoming. And you would tell me, like, if I had any questions, you were open. Like you would answer them. Like I didn't have to feel bad.
Vanna Powell.
Like me being a white person and coming to this Aboriginal tradition, and that, you know, sometimes I get funny looks from people when I say, oh, I'm going to a sharing circle tonight, oh, I'm going to a moon ceremony, and so many people are just afraid of this, right? Mm-hmm. And afraid to take those first little steps because of age or race or whatever. And I don't know, I just want to say, coming in, maybe I had more of a square sense that, you know, I'm in this corner and you're in that corner, and yeah, we can visit each other, but, you know, I'll never feel accepted or that kind of thing. And I noticed in a circle, there's room for everybody, and we're all in this together, and we're all here to support each other.
Elizabeth Tate.
I was scared. I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know who I was. Then later years, I started finding myself who I was. And I started to know more about going to the circles more, find out more about it, to learn about me. And that's where I started finding myself. I was starting to heal, starting to speak as a woman. And I started speaking with care and respect and being honest, most of all honest.
Linda Freed.
The idea of supporting each other and beginning to trust each other, to be true to ourselves, and in that context begin to recognize our role in our community to help our community grow and heal. Our women, our young girls, it makes my heart so glad to see some of our young girls begin to come forward and to ask for circle when they want support, but mostly to know that it's there for them. And as that's happened, I've watched families begin to change, begin to be more truthful with each other, begin to trust in each other, begin to share more.
Sandra Clark.
When I first attended the moon ceremony, I had a lot of mistrust because there was only one person that I trusted in that circle, and then it was like it was taking a risk out of my comfort zone because it's usually one person that I would trust, and there was others there that, you know, there was more than one. So that was the hardest part, to trust others, because there's been a lot of things in my life that were not very positive. I had experienced a lot of negative, you know, people in my life, and when you're suddenly in this circle of people that come together, you know, to celebrate womanhood, it was really a struggle for me, but eventually I eventually it was okay. It was comforting after.
Subtitle: Growth and Leadership. Daisy Manias.
I'm also a principal at one of our local schools here in Norway House. And when they talk about Aboriginal education, we're very far from that. Because my belief as an educator and as a person is that Aboriginal education needs to start with knowing who we are, and therefore the students knowing who they are.
A drum circle. Caption: Jack River School Drum Group. Carmel Manias.
Well, at the school we have our drum group, and it consists of children from age 4 to the children and adults. The youngest child being 4 years old, and the oldest being our elder. And I'm very honored to be a part of the group, and honored to be a part of the healing in our community. And it's just easier to work with the children, and how we're able to go out into the community and share, like to sing and play the drum for everybody. And I think a lot of people think it's a good thing that we're doing, and I feel that.
Dave Swanson.
Well, certainly, I believe it starts off with our language. I think we definitely need to, in order for us to be whole again, I'll say, we need to know our language. We need to, because there's so much of it that we have lost already. We need to bring our elders into the system. We also need to have our community people continue to be part of the overall process. Because I think sometimes we can understand the residential school effects on our folks. So there's a lot of mistrust with the school. However, though, we as a school need to reach out and go beyond our walls to the community and have basically use the community as an educational system as well. So that way we involve the whole family in the education system. Also, again, I said, going back on the land, teaching the history and putting value to it, showing the young people that we value it, and that's the reason why we're doing it. And we're not doing it just as a subject, but it's an everyday life.
Daisy Manias.
Well, one of the things we do for the health curriculum is we like to discuss some of the teachings with the students. So we take small groups and share teachings with concrete teachings with the students of puberty, relationships, and so on. The other thing that we do is that we structure the 7 sacred teachings to the students as part of their curriculum. We do storytelling with them. We make sure they hear an oral story. So, with one of the teachings, for each one of the teachings, the adults first and foremost of the community need to know who they are as Aboriginal people, so that we can share those gifts with the young people. In our school, we have started drumming. traditional drumming. And we have up to 30 students sometimes that come out to do the drumming, ages from 4 years old all the way to 12 years old. And there are several adults that help out the students.
Subtitle: The Changes. Daisy Manias.
In building women's strengths, I have seen leadership in women evolve from the strength that they get from these circles. I have seen women become very strong from within, and very confident in decision making, and also in living their day-to-day lives. And it has been wonderful and a pleasure to watch the women grow, as well as myself. Young women have taken up to be part of the sharing circle, and one particular young woman calls a sharing circle when she needs one, as she's going through her struggles in her teenage life.
Megan Manias.
Well, one day I was sitting there and I thought of it to ask the woman to have a sharing circle because of my problem, and we did have it. And I talked a lot, told them like I let it out, I guess. I felt like they would be there for me all the time whenever I needed them.
Daisy Manias.
We've also started coming together to do blessing ways for women who may be pregnant, who may be a bit nervous, and we've come together to support the women during their last month of pregnancy. Because it's those times, a lot of times, that women feel very, very tired, and they feel very unsafe. So just before delivery, and they feel they're very big and they're very tired. So during those times, we like to bring the women to our circle, to give them a blessing way. So remind them that there are these beautiful women, and that they will be bringing a life in a month. So we like to do that.
I was pregnant with my first child when I was young.
Gail Manias.
And I never knew about this circle. And I got introduced to it. In the circle, it made me feel stronger. Surprised to see many women that would gather up to help each other, support each other. It showed me how I could get through what I was going through. It was hard. It wasn't easy to go through anything like that. But I imagined everyone that taught me how it was gonna change my life and everything like that I was gonna go through. They all were there for me, supported me.
The women were the givers of life.
Brent Rosnowski.
They were what held the family and the community together. It was their practices and the knowledge that they brought that brought the people together as a unit. A lot of those values and practices, again, are inherent in some of the ceremonies that the ladies have been talking about.
Eileen Anderson.
I feel like I've been left out of so many things that I should have had. I feel like I've been cheated. but the ceremonies that I've been to have been very, very emotional. Not just for myself, but for a lot of the women that were there. They've made some of us, and we've talked about this. They've made many of us feel more secure, more self-confident, happy, and basically wanting to experience more ceremonies.
Sandra Clark.
It's really has a positive impact on me in my life. I feel open to new things and being able to be happy and at peace within myself as I talk, as I share, as I cry, and as I laugh. Those feelings have surfaced, and it just helped me to be who I was meant to be.
White words on a black screen. A man's gift is the medicine to protect and provide for the community. When he misuses that gift toward women, he changes the very spirit she entered the world with. Pauline Shirt, elder. At the campground, an elder is shown speaking to the gathered group. Albert Tate.
When the women are doing these ceremonies, I think a few times that men are asked to come and do their pipes in their ceremonies, and I think more men should be more involved with women, because in those ceremonies, because we all need to get well, and I think men are afraid to when women take a leadership role, men really back down a lot of times because they're afraid, because women are very powerful. And I think, they're the ones that are going to bring healing, and I think the men are going to come about. They're going to join in. I think that they would have to if they want to keep their families together. It's kind of hard to say that what men can do. Like a lot of times there are some of us that are trying to support the women because we know that we know that we need the healing. We need to start teaching maybe our young men or even our young sons or young grandsons to how to treat women, how to talk to women, how to protect them, and how they must provide for them. And I think that's missing. And I think as men, our role is to teach our young men to start respecting women.
But there are many things my grandmother told me when I was a young man growing up.
Byron Apetagon.
Preparing me that one day I will be a husband to my wife. And when I met my wife, we used to go and visit my grandmother, and she would tell us everything about life. And most of all, to be good parents, and to be kind, and to be respectful to each other. I learned the value of the women that are always around us, their love, their nurture, and their kindness and their comfort, and the times that they looked after us as men. For all these things, as men, we can't do everything. This is why we need the women to be around us, to help us, and when we journey with our women, we learn to become strong people.
A woman drums.
We are growing a process of undoing the damage of the past for the good of our grandchildren and great grandchildren. Each of us carries qualities that are the legacy of our ancestors. We are starting to remember and to reclaim their gifts.
The image freezes. This video was dedicated to Victoria Apetagon, glowing rock woman, July 17, 1952 to January 18, 2010. Then a quote, "The work to strengthen women and heal our communities is sacred work. It is not a project or a model. Traditionally, women are the foundation of the community. The vision of this work is to reclaim our young women so they can grow up to be strong women." Daisy Manias. Then a series of things to think about questions. How do you define leadership? What makes a leader? What do Aboriginal women need to be effective leaders? Credits appear over a colorful drawing of the Northern Lights, thanks to all the Nikan Iskewak video participants: Eileen Anderson, Byron Apetagon, Sandra Clark, Jennifer Osborne Crowley, Linda Freed, Carmel Manias, Daisy Manias, Gail Manias, Megan Manias, Councillor Darlene Osborne, Ravanna Powell, Brent Rosnowski, Caroline Ducharme Simpson, Dave Swanson, Albert Tate, Elizabeth Tate, and the Jack River School Student and Staff Drum Group. Opening song by Caroline Ducharme Simpson. Closing song by Jack River School Student and Staff Drum Group. Special thanks to community of Norway House Cree Nation, Norway House Communications, Helen Betty Osborne Innu Education Resource Centre, Canadian Research Institute for the Advancement of Women and the Status of Women Canada. Copyright 2014, Daisy Manias. Audio description by Descriptive Video Works.